Okay, babes. You saw my fabulous next guest during our little interview shorts at Premiere on YouTube and Instagram. But now we get to have the full story with Miss Bonnie Bonadeo. She is the leader, the founder of SOS Leadership. And from what I remember, you said that you used to be the president of the PBA.
Oh, I was the director of education for PBA.
Oh, director of education. So here we go. So everybody, or Bonnie, tell everybody why we should know you.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. I have been in the industry for a very long time. Started out as a cosmetologist and, a stylist at the chair like everybody else. But I really struggled with thinking I was creative with my hands. I was creative with my thoughts, my ideas, but my hands just kind of didn't always match up to what I thought I could do with hair. So I decided to shift and go to the business side of our industry and went to work for a distributor and sold products. That's when I really started to learn. And this was during that heyday of like product sales were everything in our industry, like super exciting to be working with manufacturers. I ended up going and working for a few manufacturers at that time. And then that's when I kind of transferred over to working for the PBA and managing, directing, and producing all their events for 10 years, which was, for me, I struggled as a hairdresser because I didn't know how to learn. And I didn't have access like we do today of education. So I kept thinking, the gal next to me that I worked at the salon, Michelle, I kept thinking, at what point is Michelle just going to slap me side the head and say, you can't keep asking me questions. I'm not your instructor here. And so I thought, I got to figure out how to learn. And that's when I went to the business side of the industry. And fortunately it did. I learned an enormous about not just how to do hair, but what the industry was really about. And then I got the privilege and great honor to be able to offer education to the entire industry so that other people weren't in that same position that I was in.
That is really interesting that you say, I didn't know how to learn. Okay, so what did you think learning was? And then what did you discover that it is?
Well, that's a really good question, Krystine. Because honestly, I don't think it's changed much. Okay. Even though we have access to so much more education available to us, for me, coming out of beauty school, we didn't really learn color because color was not necessarily a thing. We pulled hair through caps and bleached it. That was our thing. Or we did kind of vibrant colors were coming in, like punk colors were coming in.
Yeah, I love.
We were mainly in the perm and shaggy hair days. So when we started transitioning to color and doing different cuts without hair being curly, because you could screw up a haircut all day long with curly hair, right? Yeah. But when people started wearing it straighter and more structured and geometric and everything, it's like, I don't know how to cut hair. I do not know how to color hair. It wasn't what we learned in beauty school. I know they're getting better at teaching that in beauty schools today, but still, I still see, working in the salon at Intrigue Salon, which I do as well as having my leadership academy, the students coming out that we hire in as proteges still need an enormous amount of training for the craft.
Yeah.
Okay. And social skills and emotional skills.
Ooh, emotional skills. I love that. Okay. Like, are we talking mindset? Or are we talking like, don't take it personal? Like, what do you mean? Yeah. Ooh, that's so good.
Well, let me ask you this, Krystine. Did you ever as a kid, have to go sell something door to door or in your...
It was those chocolates. Remember those chocolates?
Yeah. Well, we could never sell chocolates in Arizona because they would melt. So we always had to sell something other than chocolates because you could never go around the neighborhood with chocolate. You would just melt. And I think that those type of skills teach you, people saying yes to you and people saying no to you and how you manage those things. and that you just don't give up when somebody says no to you, that you go to the next door and knock on that door, and then somebody's going to say yes. And, those are skills that I think that are younger generations just didn't have access to quite as much as we did. And we just had more freedom and safety to do those things.
Yeah.
So the emotional skills are, how do I communicate with somebody in a way that's making a connection fast, but a trustworthy connection?
Ooh, that is very cool.
Because we can be friendly all day long, but if I'm not creating trust with that client, then I don't have an emotional connection. And then they're not going to be as comfortable in the chair with me as they could be. And then of course, we're multifaceted if we're working at a chair, right? We have to be able to have conversations while we're doing the craft, and still be able to kind of like take those next levels, selling them, pre-booking them, talking to them about retail, all those things that kind of fall through the cracks a little bit because we're not comfortable selling and we're not comfortable making that emotional connection. It's just, it's too much for these younger generations that kind of grew up on a screen. So you got to teach them all that stuff. And that's kind of the foundation of leadership too.
Yes, of course. Like multifaceted connection and different parts of your mind that need to be done. And okay. So do your girls, your team rather, do they get like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Do they work through SOS leadership, or do you kind of like pick and choose and just create like a separate thing for them?
Yeah, I probably design something more customized for them. So the SOS Leadership Academy really caters to salon owners and managers. Okay. And now that could include people that are in suites, because you're still leading your business in a sense, but you may be the technician in that space, but it's hard also to be the manager and the entrepreneur as well. So certainly those are a good audience for me, but mainly it's salon owners and managers that not only are running their business day to day, but they're managing people day to day. And that's the work that's happening.
And that from being a salon owner myself to talking to other salon owners to the other guests who come on the show, like that talking to people in general has just been such a drain. Right? Like if you don't know how to manage it, you are just a shriveled up prune. Like you're just done.
It's emotionally exhausting.
Yeah.
When you aren't trained how to lead people.
Yeah.
Because you always feel like you're sacrificing yourself, or you're being mean, or we're getting labeled, or you fear making those harder decisions that you need to make as a leader. And then it weighs on you. You put your head on the pillow at night and you're like, I should have done that. Why didn't I say this type of thing? So getting trained on how to be a leader is critical. The process that I take our team through is more relative to kind of that connection piece, how to emotionally connect with the client. Like at what point is the client comfortable with you within 5 minutes? What are you doing to get a client comfortable with you in 5 minutes? So like an example was, I saw one of our team members walk up, introduce themselves. No, walk up, call the client's name. Client stood up, started following, and this person just turned around to walk towards their chair. And the client said, "Oh, are you blankety blank?" Turned around and goes, "Oh, yeah. So she didn't even like formally introduce herself or guide. So I'm observant and stuff like that. And then I build kind of trainings in that piece right there. Like, okay, where's the point where you just stop and allow them to walk to you, walk together?
Yes.
Like you got to walk together with it. Silly things like that. But the impact that makes builds trust so fast.
It is huge. It is huge. And then as a person yourself, like it feels so much better when they literally like like hold your hand and take you. Like I go to all these doctor's appointments with my grandparents and I just lose my mind. So I get it. I get what you're saying.
Because they don't know where they're going. And
Right.
this is the first time, I think about it, if this is the first time you're visiting a new stylist, there's an enormous amount of hesitation and like, oh my God, are they going to screw up my hair?
Yeah.
They're going through.
Mm-hmm. It's nerve-wracking. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
For them. We take it for granted.
We take it for granted. So we have to put ourselves in their shoes. And then, of course, even if it's a client that's been coming to us for an extended period of time, stay in their shoes, because sometimes they might want something different. Sometimes they might be having a better day or a bad day. And we just have to be more present to those type of things. And, you know,
Exactly.
And that at the end of the day makes the job that we do physically and emotionally exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we manage that? How do we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sat in your classes during Premiere Orlando. I was all about it. Like I was just, it was so good to be fed, I think, like steak and potatoes, and in regards to other things to be learned. But everybody listening and watching, make sure you go check out Ms. Bonnie on SOS Leadership on Instagram and all the things. We'll have all the links. But in any case, so you kind of touched on it, but what has been your biggest struggle, personally, professionally, that you kind of look back on and you're like, thank God I kind of went through that?
Well, obviously it's why I'm here today, right?
Right.
That's the true story.
Yeah.
So when I went to work for a manufacturer, I'll step back one thing. When I worked for the distributor, I was one of the very first female salespeople they had. Okay, I'm not that old, everybody. I swear you, I'm not that old.
Oh.
No.
Wow.
We think this is a very dominant female industry, and it is at the level of the salon level. But when you go into the business side of this industry, it's a man's world just like any other industry. So I was like one of their first female salespeople. And the women in the salons didn't like me very much.
What?
Well, they liked the Bill and the Bob and the Joe that came through and, you know, made them all feel good about themselves. And then here I'm walking in, and I thought that I had this edge because I was a cosmetologist. I'm a licensed hairdresser. So
Right.
I'm going to be able to talk the talk. And I realized that kind of wasn't what they wanted. They wanted the him, Bill, Bob, you know, bringing in the donuts or the croissants for them and making them feel good. That was a lesson I had to learn in that transition. So when I went to work for a manufacturer, I really tried to pay attention to my surroundings because, again, it was very male dominant, and yet I couldn't be exactly like them, but I had to figure out what I needed to be like in order to be authentic. And there was one point where I was heading to a regional meeting, and I met my boss was at the end of the jetway, but pre-TSA days. So maybe I am myself here.
No, stop. You're fabulous. Please.
And my boss was at the end of the jetway. And by the time we got to baggage claim, she had fired me. And I loved my job. I got promoted as a leader. We just, like 3 months prior, I got the President's Eagle Award. We had the top sales. I mean, I loved my job. I thought I was doing a very good job. Okay. And so when I asked, why are you firing me? And she says, well, you're not a very good manager. And I thought, well, when were you going to train me to be a manager? Because you trained me to be an artist and an educator and a platform artist and a colorist, all those things when I worked for you as a manufacturer. When were you going to train me to be a manager? And she goes, you should have already known that. And I didn't, of course. I didn't. So it took me a long time, Krystine, to kind of get over that. I was always very sensitive to it. So I'd go in another position. They'd want to hire me to be a leader or manager. And I'd be like, well,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm not good at it type of thing. But I kept I kept getting those opportunities. So I kept putting myself into those opportunities, thinking I'm eventually going to get this, right? And it wasn't until I learned emotional intelligence that I really understood not how to lead or manage people. I understood who I was being.
Mm-hmm.
And who I was being was somebody that was incredibly driven, very performance driven and results oriented. But I would just leave my team in the dust of like, come on, jump on, we're going, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we're going to do it. And I didn't really have those people skills or those listening skills or those coaching skills to be able to say, what do you guys think we should do? What's the next big thing? How are we going to go from here to here? What's your idea? Like, I never did that.
Yeah.
And I discovered that that was what was missing for me. And then that kind of transitioned me into being a coach, because that was where I was going to have to learn those skills more than anything.
Yeah.
Was to be a coach. Yeah.
I love that. I love that story. I love it because it made you who you are today.
Yeah. And,
you know,
and the love that I have for leadership, like, you know, it never felt like a burden to me, but I just was doing it how I thought you should do it. And I also had a very masculine way of doing it. That's what was modeled to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while to find that feminine side of being the leader. And I think this is where our industry struggles, Krystine, because we're females leading females. And we don't want to always be the leader. We want to be part of the pack. You know,
that's true.
We want to be friends with them. We don't want to like have to be over here all alone. And I think that we all know that that's part of the process. But you know, finding that emotionally but feminine approach to leading women.
I love that you are talking about this, because besides the fact that that is very much like on trend in the coaching world, right? The masculine, feminine energy. But it's true. Yeah. Like, we are women, like, it is exhausting to live and act in a way that you were not meant to be, you know? So that was beautifully said. And I am so grateful for that. Whoa. Oh man, I love it. Okay. So that was your struggle.
Mm-hmm.
What has been your biggest failure, professionally or personally?
Oh. All right. So as you kind of go through your career and you start to learn things, I always thought to myself, I am going to be an entrepreneur. Like, I just knew that I was going to be my own business. Because even knowing what I knew then in regards to emotional intelligence and leadership and stuff like that, I wasn't a very good employee because I always wanted to lead. So if I had a boss, you know, I wanted to be the boss. And that at times created some friction, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I just can't work for people. That's just all there is to it. I just have to be my own boss type of thing.
Yeah.
I got this brilliant idea to start my own business. And although it was a good idea at the time, I was nowhere prepared to be the entrepreneur. And it wasn't just that I wasn't prepared, you know, as Bonnie, as, look, okay, I'm ready type of thing. It was, I kind of made some really big life choices. So I was a single mom. So I got divorced, I became a single mom. Then I, you know, bought my very own house for the very first time in my life. Like, it was like I was doing well enough to do these things. And then started my own business. And this was during the housing crisis. So things got really bad. Then, of course, we went into the recession. Things got even worse. I created a business where I was managing and representing educators for education. So shows would work through me. I would book all their educators. Manufacturers would call me, and if they didn't have an education team, but they needed to do a photo shoot, I would send in, you know, artist talent.
Cool. Okay.
find all these people and doing all of this, right? Well, guess what? When we went through the recession, there was also an enormous amount of acquisitions taking place in our industry with manufacturing. Guess what department got eliminated?
Of course, education. Yours.
Education. So the great idea that I had under the circumstances of how the economy and the world was going kept making it smaller and smaller opportunity for me. And then, I became very resourceful.
Sure.
To make money.
Yeah.
And, did okay. But then Facebook came out. And it is crazy to say this, right?
I love this. No, because I remember
Facebook has been around for like a million years, right? Facebook comes out, and the talent that I was representing could represent themselves. They could just put themselves up on Facebook and promote themselves. So then there was less and less of, I don't need, Bonnie,
right,
madam.
Right. That's funny.
Or anymore.
That's how it feels for sure in the industry.
Yeah, I can do it myself. And, of course, that led me to my next business, which was, okay, fine, you do it yourself. But they were failing at doing it themselves. Now, this is what I failed at as an entrepreneur, too. When I sold anybody else's stuff, I was super confident. When I was selling my own stuff, I was not so confident.
Okay.
Like selling me selling me was a lot harder than I thought it was. Me selling my services was a lot harder than I thought it was. So when all these educators started promoting themselves through social media at this time, they just weren't doing a good job. So then I knew I had to start coaching them on how to do it better. Let me coach you on how to be able to speak better, how to be able to brand better, how to be able to communicate more effectively. And that kind of led me down the path of doing some great work with the educators and some of our top talent in the industry, and then working with some major manufacturers to train all of their talent in these skill sets. And then I thought, I don't know what I thought, but I thought I'm going to lean towards the salon owner now. I felt like the salon owner was being neglected.
Yeah.
And again, all of the fragmentation that happened in our industry, from owning salons and commissioned type and employee-based businesses to then now suites and all this, I felt like salon owners were really struggling out there. And I believe, you tell me if you believe this too.
Okay, ready.
I believe the whole reason why we became so fragmented is because owners were not being good leaders.
Yes, agreed.
And people would say, she's a toxic salon owner. She won't let me have a Saturday off. I have to work all these hours. I told her I didn't want to do those services anymore. So I'm just going to go out and do my own thing.
Yep.
So when we were running businesses as salon owners without the flexibility that was starting to happen in the industry, they fled. And then we resented it. And so here we are. 20 years later, in all of this, and I'll say that salon owners are still struggling with how to lead people, not own a business or run a business,
right?
Lead people in the business.
Yeah, it's still that connection, that person to person connection. Now we know about the numbers and we know about the structure, and as I feel as women, we're like, yes, got it, feels good, but then damn, I gotta still connect to this person.
I still have to tell somebody that they have body odor, or I still have to tell somebody that's been late 5 times, you can't be late anymore. These are the challenges they're still facing. And they're like, but it's in my handbook. They know what time they're supposed to show at 15 minutes before. It's in the handbook, But we all learned all this structure over the last 20 years of how to run a business. How to be profitable, how to put a book together, policy book, a handbook, how to be able to, market yourself, get yourself set up on there, run your POS systems and all that stuff. But we still neglected how to have those conversations with people that don't trigger them to hate you and call you a toxic salon owner.
Oh, yes.
I just read one yesterday on the salon forum.
Okay.
and I'm sorry if I'm talking about this person and they hear
And
this.
you hear this and we're sorry. Okay.
Yes, but I want you to know that I'm still thinking about you. So she's in her 60s. She's worked for this business for many years, and she was looking to take off a certain amount of time, and the owner refused to give her this time off. And I'm thinking, where are we at here, people? Like, she's worked with you, and it was a lot of years, 10 plus years.
With the same salon.
And she's in her 60s, has a full boat clientele, like probably is making a good amount of money for herself and the salon.
Yeah.
And whatever the reason was, this owner was just not going to let her have this time off or have this Saturday off or whatever the case was. And she just was like on the social media forum page saying, what do I do? And of course, guess what the answers were? Tell me what you think the answer.
Oh my gosh. They're probably like, leave. Go start your own business. Get out of there. She's a nightmare. See you next Tuesday. Like that kind of thing. Oh my gosh.
Yes, all of that. And guess what? That's not going to help her.
No, it's not.
All she wanted was the time off that she had requested.
Mm-hmm.
She's at 60 something years old. Do you think she wants to go open up her own suite and like do all of that over again? She had a comfortable place where she just felt like, I come to work, I do my clients, I love it, I go home type of thing.
Yeah.
So all of the advice that she got was really bad advice.
Okay, so really, like, this is where I struggle, because when I see those two, I'm always like, tell your boss to call me because she's got problems. Like, how do you yes, you connect with that person who's going through the hard time, but even like in real life, like, how do you get to the root of the problem? Like, how do you connect with the owner, the boss who's having the meltdown? Really, it's really them, not the person who's complaining.
Yeah. Well, I say that you have to coach people in, coach people up, or coach people out.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like those are the three areas. So if you're coaching somebody in, it's you're bringing people in to be able to be part of your culture. If you're coaching them up, you're helping them to grow. Now, there are times that the team needs to coach up the management, okay? Where the needs, desires, and wants that they have in order to keep things kind of stable, the leadership needs to hear it. So what you don't want a mutiny on your hands.
Right.
So you have to be present and open to hearing what people need. And then, if it doesn't work, you got to coach people out, right? So, I had just said to her, I said, it's not you, it's him.
Yeah.
It was a him that she referenced. It's not you, it's him. And he needs to be trained on leadership communication skills.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't, then it's always going to be a struggle for you. And then I kind of did owners, get trained on leadership communications, managing, leading people. Otherwise, these are the people that you count on to be there every day to produce revenue for you. These are the people you're pissing off and are leaving. Yes,
it is true. Oh my goodness, my heart for her right now.
I know. I felt really bad for her.
That kills.
Because it's like, up to this point, she thought maybe she had some standing in her space.
Yeah, of course.
To be able to say after all this time, this is you're not letting me have a week off or whatever.
Oh my God. I hope they see this. We're going to post it in the groups too.
Crazy
episode.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, okay. With that being said, what has been your personal most favorite insult that you've ever gotten that you're so proud of that you've gotten? So now it's like your driver.
Oh my gosh.
Spill the tea, Bonnie.
That is an interesting question. Let's see, how do I phrase it? Because it's not that I don't have a filter. I don't have fear to just say what I need to say.
That's cool. That's good. Boldness.
Yeah. So,
all right.
So it's kind of like maybe sometimes people think it's a little direct. I could be like incredibly direct, but then I'm like, it's either err on the side of communication or own the guilt and all of that other crap that festers in you if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather say something wrong and try to correct it than not say anything at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's easier.
Now, as I have matured and as you asked the question previously in the entrepreneurial world, which I feel like I succeeded and failed at the same time,
Yeah.
I learned the balance of when to say something and how to say it. Not just say it, but can I hold it? Can I just hold it for a little bit? Maybe it's not as important as I think it is to say right now. Maybe it's not the right time or place. Maybe it's going to upset the apple cart if I say it now versus later. You know, maybe I'm aware that I have to just be more observant with what's going on with this person. Maybe it's not about what actually happened. Maybe there's something behind it. And if I'm more observant, will I get those answers before I just jump into saying something?
Okay.
Self-awareness.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Self-awareness, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the insult?
I think people just say that I'm too direct. You'll just make it like you're honest. Honest. They tell me I'm honest.
I like being honest.
Well, people are not comfortable with being honest because, you know, they'll dance. They'll dance around what they need to say.
Okay. I'm taking that in because I have gotten that one as well. And I guess it's just hitting a little differently for me right now because like, oh yeah, you're so honest, you're so direct. Well, duh, like I don't that's interesting. Yeah,
No,
why don't people like to be honest? Are they so used to lying that it's a trigger for them to be honest?
I think that yeah, possibly. They might fear the outcome.
Oh.
They might fear the outcome. You know, because sometimes being too direct is rude. It can be rude.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
I think we need to be more honest. The problem that I think we do is we add in an enormous amount of words to try to get to that honest place.
Oh.
You're so great. I love working with you. You know, I mean, you for the last 3 years have just been really one of my favorite people. By the way, you have body odor. Right?
Right.
So that's, I think, the challenge of people fearing going down the honesty path is as a more direct conversation. They try to like massage it and sugarcoat, do all these other things to make it easier. It doesn't make it easier.
So with that example, how do you be like, listen, babe, so you're a little stinky today. Like, how do you do it?
I'm wondering if you're aware.
Okay, that's cool. I like that one.
I'm wondering if you're aware that recently I've noticed that you have come in, maybe not at your best, maybe not that $100,000 hairdresser that I know you are.
Right.
That's and then you just kind of lead into it from there.
Yeah.
It's not, a lot of times, it's not that they didn't use deodorant that day. It's usually something going on. To get more to the root cause of it. So you have to be a very patient leader in allowing that to show up. Because if I told you, you have body odor, I'm going to need you need to shower and use deodorant before you come in tomorrow type of thing. If that's all I'm doing, then that person doesn't feel heard, valued, or respected. That person says, I know, I'm sorry. My washing machine and dryer went out. I'm actually pulling clothes out of the hamper instead of like going to the laundromat, which is what I need to do. It's getting fixed this weekend. It'll get taken care of. And then you're kind of like, okay, that's a circumstance.
Right.
They are aware of it. I don't need to say anything else.
Right.
And sometimes it's even worse than that, you know?
Of course.
Sometimes it's like, I got kicked out of my house. I'm living out of my car. You know, Like sometimes there's really, really dire straight situations that are happening behind the scenes. And although I'm willing to hear them as a leader, I don't try to fix it for them.
Yes.
I will support them in how they can fix that for themselves. And they will, if you give them the space, if you give them the space and the respect to have that kind of a conversation, and most importantly, for people to feel heard.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
for all of those, for all the boss babes and everything watching and listening, I hope, and Bonnie, please let me know if this is true. Like, you know, we know all the systems and we're like go-getters and we're like, check, did all that. Wonderful. Now we got to connect. Okay. From what I am hearing and understanding is, as leaders, we have to slow down everything so that we can be patient and so that we can slow down to speed up. That's really...
Yeah. And you know what? Just like learning anything, it's a framework. So I want you to think about, you're going to learn a brand new haircut for the very first time. You're not going to go through it fast. You're going to be super slow and super methodical. And then you're going to be like, wait, where do I go from here? And then you're like, oh yeah, this way, hold it this way. It's the same thing. But after you've done it a while, you master it and you don't have to be so slow and methodical. So when you learn a framework of being able to have these conversations and coaching people and allowing them to feel heard, it's a very easy framework. You just have to practice it. Right. And the other part to that is not being slow and present. It's also saying a lot less. We say way too many words, and that creates confusion versus clarity. Wait, what is she asking me to do? Did she just say I stunk? And yet she's happy I'm here? You know?
You see that? Look at that. Yeah.
It's a very mixed message.
Yeah.
So less. So at the last training that I did here in Atlanta, I usually get, a salon owner, 2 salon owners up, and then somebody plays a stylist. And we go through traditional role playing, but you have to hear it, see it, and feel it for it to come to life. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a very simple process. It's like, okay, I want you to have a conversation with this person because they've been late a few times. It's not like them. This is unusual behavior, but you need to kind of bring it to their attention now because you don't want this to keep happening, right? And they'll start the conversation and I'll say 50% of what you just said. And then they'll kind of cut it down. And then I'll say 50% of what you just said. And they'll cut it down. And then I'll say, now cut that in half. So it ends up being one very simple yet clear question, not statement, that allows them to give you an answer.
Wow, that's
and then
awesome.
Once they answer, this is where you have to be on and hear what they say. Because whatever they say is where you go next. Not where you want to go next, not what your head's saying to go next, not where your thoughts. What they say is where you go next. So it is slowing down for sure on the front.
Yeah. Oh, all right. What do you want to be remembered for?
That I just made a difference. Yeah, that I made an impact with not just people in this industry, but that I made an impact as a human being. That people saw me as, wow, that was pretty cool. She lived a good life.
Yeah. Who are the people that you look up to that have influenced you?
That's funny. That would have been a very hard question for me halfway through my career point in here.
Yeah.
Because I felt like there wasn't anybody to mentor me in these positions and stuff like that. But some of the people that I love and adore, Jeff, my fiance, I mean, he's such a good person. And I have learned to be a better person because of who he is.
Yeah.
And he naturally knows how to be, and it works for him. It can't be exactly how I need to be and have it work for me, but I admire that process that he does. He's well liked, and this is what people say about him. He's the nicest guy in the industry.
Oh,
he really is.
I mean, yeah, we met him, right? So he was. I thought he was like a doll, you know. I love that.
He's just the nicest guy in the industry. And, yeah. So definitely Jeff on the front end. But one of our other friends here that's in Atlanta is Candy Shaw. And here's why I admire her. She does not miss a beat.
She doesn't, and I love it.
Doesn't miss a beat. Like how she packages things up, how she presents herself, how she presents her programs, her content, her education. She really is one of the best educators that I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
But she really puts it all together in a way that you think, like, if I did it, it would be like, oh my God, that would take so much time and energy and all of that stuff. But it just comes very natural to her to be able to do those little touches that just make it memorable, you know? So
yeah.
So she gets that. She gets that. And that's why she has the success that she does.
Yeah. All right. We got Jeff. We got Candy. Who's a third one?
Well, my son, of course. You know, I mean, it's like, I don't want to not.
I know. There's so many people.
This young man that I raised, he's 27 now. From the very start, even though I didn't know what this meant in my early days of being a mom, my son came out of me emotionally intelligent already.
I love it. So
I learned from him the way that he responded to things, the way that he would be like, it's not important. But the discipline that young man had, I never, ever had to say, go do your homework.
Oh, he just did it. He would just
come home and he would, this is what he would do. Mom, I'm going to grab something to eat. I'm going to play video games for 1 hour and then I'm going to get to my homework. I didn't even have to say anything. And I'm like, yeah, no problem.
You're like, oh, okay.
Like, he's just a very disciplined young man. And so today he's got a great job. He's working for this organization. They just promoted him in a management position. And last year at the Las Vegas show in June was the first time that he ever actually sat in one of my educational classes.
Oh,
because he was in Vegas at the time. So he was sat in one of my classes and he goes, I get it. All the things that you've said to me all these years, like you put it all together in 1 hour. I get it. And I'm like, yeah, you've always gotten it. You just needed maybe the framework of what it all represented and stuff like that. So I am very excited that he's taking on this leadership position. And so I said to him, I want to work with you on a couple of coaching skills, that communication coaching skills. Are you willing to work with me on these? And he's like, yes. He goes, because I don't want to screw up. Like, it's the work is too important. My team is too small. They have so much on their plate. I don't want to screw up in how I communicate with them.
Yeah. Oh, that is so beautiful.
He's a good kid.
He's like, Mom, I need your help.
Yeah.
I need your help. I love that.
I got blessed with one angel. I never had an opportunity to have a second child, but you know how they say the first one's an angel, the second one's a devil type.
Yeah, so you spared.
I'll take the angel.
You got spared. So with all of this experience that you've had in the industry, in your own personal discovery, like, what is one lesson that the beauty industry has taught you that you wish these CEOs, the mailman, the lawyers, like, what is that lesson that you wish that they would understand most?
We could say that we're in the service industry, but the level of service that we do is so unique to other service industries. So you could say restaurants is service industry, but their product is food, right? you could duplicate food. You could make a great meal, put it in front of me, and I could be like, you want to know what? I can do this at home type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, then you've got the medical field that they have, yes, it's a service-based industry type of thing, but they're focusing on medicine. We have to focus not only on the craft, but the relationship we have with that person in the chair every 6-8 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's really a unique industry. And I think we should be incredibly proud of the way that we are in this industry and how special it is that we can do this, that our product is people.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is people.
We can't do it without people. And I heard Elon Musk, he was on an interview and everything, and he says, digital jobs that you can do on a computer are going to get taken over and already have by AI. Jobs that are service-based businesses where it's about the people will not turn into AI jobs soon. Eventually, maybe, but not right away. So if you're and you have to think about that. Like, think about the creative jobs. Yeah. I don't need a photographer anymore. I can ask AI to take a picture of me and say, hey, take a picture pointing at my sign over here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could say, I can't find the perfect artwork for my bedroom. Can you design something that looks like this? And then go have it printed.
God, that's true, yeah.
But I can't say, hey, AI, I need highlights today. Can you go ahead and throw some highlights in my head?
That's right.
It's still something really incredibly special. And although I feel like our industry always kind of gets bad-mouthed and, we don't make a lot of money, we're not college graduates, all of that stuff, I think we should really own, and with amazing pride, what we do, because it's not everybody can do this.
No, they really can't.
Not everybody can do this job.
I love that. Okay, so with everybody listening and watching, we're going to have Bonnie's links in the show notes. Make sure you click them. There's a little free little Quizlet there. So if you love taking quizzes, you need to take this one. It's very insightful and I love it. So there's that. And then before we wrap up, Bonnie, what is a question that I did not ask you that you wish I would have, and how would you have answered?
I think it kind of ties into what can people do? Like, if they know something's missing, what do they need to do? So right now, if you asked me, what do you see the industry is like, what's in the industry right now that's happening that feels disruptive or whatever? And I would say it's burnout. Like, I hear people say burnout all the time. And the antidote to burnout is to get better educated. Get educated. Go find education. Go find something where you don't feel like you're empowered enough in, and learn it. I don't care what it is. Marketing, branding, social media, running ads, leadership, maybe a particular razor cutting or something like that. I don't care what it is. Find an area that you don't feel very strong in. Go learn how to do it. Because it'll change your burnout fast.
Yeah. You get injected with new life. You're like, whoa. And then, okay, that's cool.
Or the second part of that is take a vacation. Go take a sailing trip. Go remove yourself from anything that you have traditionally done and put yourself in a different environment so you can kind of come back and say, wow, I got a good life. Or that was so needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. A different environment changes you for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Bonnie, thank you for coming on the BeautyPro podcast. I am so excited. Yeah, I'm happy to share our conversation with everybody listening and watching. It's been an honor, really.
Thank you so much. I really look forward to seeing this out there, but working with you again in some capacity, because you're a very bright light.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, you guys, that's a wrap, and we'll catch you next time.